Are you ready to jingle your bells? Let's do this.
Stroke my, lick my, suck my cock. It's the first time for you.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Hello everyone, Richard Lewis here with another video. This one is kind of seasonal, although it's going to come a few days late because we've been busy with other things. But, I did a video for Halloween. I talked about some of my favorite obscure horror movies. And while obviously it's never going to get big numbers, a lot of you seem to like it. A lot of you seem to also have that same appreciation of horror movies and Halloween. And as I said, Halloween's one of my favorite holidays. I love Halloween. Do you love Halloween, Sam?
Yeah, big fan. Just couldn't find my mute button then.
Yeah, big fan. Big fan. Big fan. Are you a big fan of Halloween?
It's alright. It's not. I'm not a huge fan. I don't really see.
Did you do anything?
Nah.
Did you do anything?
Stayed in bed.
You literally stayed in bed.
Didn't even wake up for the kids, but full on lights off and everything. Get the fuck out of my house.
I think you should clarify. You mean the kids that were knocking at your door,
Yeah,
not your
not
own
my
children.
kids. Didn't even take them out.
Didn't even wake up. Daddy. Fuck up. I'm in bed.
If you're hungry.
Fuck up. I'm having a day off, like
From life.
Yeah, I'm glad we established that. But I love it anyway. One of my favorite holidays. And unfortunately, I think it's going to be banned soon. As ridiculous as it sounds, I don't think we'll have Halloween in a few years. As you guys know from following I Hate It Here and some of the other videos we've done, Halloween is under attack constantly from the progressive left, and I'm gonna tell you why this is happening. They basically hate any kind of free-form expression where one of the key things might be to offend or shock people. They can't cope with it. They believe they have a right not to be shocked, not to be offended. They believe this is some sort of sanctified human right. And, they went after comedy first. And this is why all top-level comedians just don't even bother playing colleges anymore. Seinfeld, Chris Rock, Louis C.K., all of these comedians and many others, they just, fuck campus. Fuck campus. Why would I go to a college? Because you can't make any jokes. If you make the middle of the ground jokes where no one's the butt of the joke, they're generally not funny. It's very hard to find a joke that isn't at someone or something's expense. And if you, of course, do make a joke at the expense of somebody, then you're being prejudiced and more often than not racist or sexist or misogynist or something. And obviously these people, they all get in arms and snap and, so people don't do it. So they succeeded in their little safe spaces on campus. They won't get comedy anymore. And they don't understand that that's a great loss to themselves, that they are reducing their own enrichment of their lives by forcing this upon themselves. And now it's Halloween, because obviously costumes that aren't regulated may trigger them, may upset them. Now, we talked about this in previous videos, but if people remember last Halloween, there was an incident on Yale University campus where Erica Christakis sent out an email that basically said, look, instead of complaining about offensive Halloween costumes, why don't we just learn to kind of tolerate it and maybe have a conversation? That if you see something that offends you, maybe go up to the person and explain why, and let's use some life skills and let's develop and let's communicate. And this caused a fucking furor, like protests on campus, that, this idea that you should be a reasonable adult. So on the Washington Post, Erica Christakis actually came in and wrote an opinion piece, which is basically my Halloween email led to a campus firestorm and a troubling lesson about self-censorship. And it talks quite a lot about, the trials and tribulations that they went through, just to basically say, we should be adults about Halloween. And you know, that's Yale. That's the state of campuses across America. Now, if you think I'm exaggerating, and you think that this isn't happening, I'm going to link you to multiple examples of people being called racist, people getting attacked, and police resources even being wasted on this nonsense. But just before we get into that, I want to touch upon something. Now, cultural appropriation gets talked about a lot. It's a big buzzword phrase that social justice warriors, virtue signalers like to use. And basically what it means is that if you wear something that belongs specifically to a culture, you're appropriating their culture, you are stealing their culture. And as a result, you are racist, you are evil, you are horrible, and you must be stopped. It is a subtle form of racism. It shows you do not respect that culture. Now, when I was growing up, I lived in a pretty diverse area, especially for the Northeast. Certainly not in Wales. Nothing diverse about Wales. But in the Northeast of England, I grew up in a place where we had a lot of representation. My godmother was Indian. I was exposed to Indian culture, Indian food, Indian music, different Indian religions, different languages. I met Sikhs, and I was very open and aware of other cultures. When I was a kid, I went to what they called a Khalsa camp, which was a type of transcendental Sikh meditation camp. I was one of the very few kind of white kids that was interested in doing that. I guess you could say while I was doing this, I appropriated their culture. I learned about their culture. I didn't feel like appropriation to me. It felt like appreciation to me. That I was appreciating their culture and trying to learn about it. And even though I didn't adopt it on a permanent basis, I guess you could say I temporarily walked in their shoes. And I definitely helped my understanding of these people and some of their beliefs. And I didn't adopt them full time, but I don't regret the experience. I think it broadened my horizons. Now, when it comes to Halloween, I don't think things should necessarily be off the table. And certainly it's not just about Halloween cultural appropriation. People get attacked for wearing, dreadlocks. White people aren't allowed to wear dreadlocks in America. Let that sink in. That's a type of haircut. People say that it's a black thing. It's a Rastafarian thing. I'm going to show you in a moment how that's absolutely not true. And anyone who says otherwise is an ignorant fucking moron. But it doesn't just stop with that. It's like, there was a period of history where Native Americans, obviously, were the indigenous people of America. And they've been subject to a fairly appalling treatment. I think we can all agree. The genocide of the Native American people is horrible. It's a horrible story. But it happened. And it happened a long time ago. And I understand that there are still Native American people out there. And, I've been to Native American communities in America, and some of them are casinos and some of them aren't, right? The people that have casinos and the people that don't. And I don't consider myself, if I ever wanted to wear their ceremonial dress from back in the day, because a lot of people do not practice that form of belief system anymore. It's antiquated. Some do. There are some very proud traditionalists, and that's fine. No one's stopping them doing that. But if I, for example, wanted to wear a Native American outfit, I don't think that makes me racist. I don't think that makes me hate Native American people. I don't think that makes me less sympathetic to what happened, which is awful. I've read about the history. It's truly a horrible thing that happened. And there have been more modern genocides, by the way. I mean, genocides are still being perpetrated against certain races of people. And I guess we turn a blind eye to that. We don't really talk a great deal about it. That's okay, though, because, it's not somebody wearing their costume at Halloween. So it's clearly virtue signaling to me. It doesn't really make a lot of sense. I'll talk about dreadlocks specifically. You'll get some people who might want to go to Halloween as Bob Marley. Bob Marley's dead, Sam. He's dead.
Fucking hell!
You all right, bud? See, that's a squeal. Bob Marley's dead, mate. And I'm like you. I don't particularly like reggae, but I like Bob Marley. You know, he had fucking.
Why do you say
balls.
like me when I said I don't like reggae?
Oh, you hate reggae.
Right? Yes, I do.
I mean, come on. It's all. There's a few good reggae artists. Let's be real about it, right? Like you got Scratch Lee Perry.
Two
You
of
got
them end in Marley.
Yeah. So and that's fine. Again, each to their own, right? But here's the thing: Bob Marley was a legend. Like you don't even need to like the genre of music to appreciate what he was all about, and he definitely elevated the genre to a higher level. Now, let's just say this Halloween, I want to go out and wear a Bob Marley Rastafarian wig because I really like Bob Marley. Am I culturally appropriating Rastafarianism? Apparently, I'm stealing their culture. I am insulting them. So to show appreciation to a great artist, I'm somehow denigrating an entire culture. And there was a video circulating not that long ago where two black students actually, attacked a white student for having dreadlocks. And saying that she asked the question, "Are you from Egypt?" And obviously he wasn't. So I guess we need to do some lessons. I guess we need to educate some people about dreadlocks. So obviously dreadlocks are just when your hair gets matted or braided, and you put it on there. You don't brush them, you don't comb them, and a lot of people don't clean them. I mean. The hair will kind of self-clean after a while, but if you've ever had any crusty friends like I had back in the day, when I was at university, dreadlocks do smell. They can smell until they get to a certain length. You have to go through it's discipline. You have to do it. Obviously not everyone. Some people do wash their dreads. A lot of the crusties I knew didn't. They felt it helped the matting process, whatever. Fuck that noise. That's anecdotal. Let's talk about history. Let's talk about facts. So the earliest depiction of dreadlocks is about 3,600 years ago. Sam, this is your quiz. I'm going to quiz you. Right. Where was it? Where was the earliest depiction of dreadlocks geographically?
South America.
Wrong. It was the Minoans. In Greece, Crete, and there's frescoes of this in Greece, which shows individual with dreadlocks, actually individual braided hair that are dreadlocks, and certainly there are ancient Egyptian statues also with dreadlocks. It appears it wasn't particularly bound to one geography, and certainly not to one race. Because the Egyptian people are Africans and the Greek people are obviously mainland Europeans, and they would have come from very distinct bloodlines. So these two different cultures, very different cultures, geographically different, that wouldn't have encountered each other, or certainly there's no evidence to suggest that they would have interacted and shared anything culturally at that time period. They both had dreadlocks, and there are also depictions of Celts and Celtic warriors, which is our tradition, our heritage, having dreadlocks. There are also Tibetan Buddhists that have dreadlocks instead of the traditional shaved head. Certainly, a large group of African tribes have dreadlocks. The Maasai are probably the most famous, but there's others. I'm trying to think of some off the top of my head. There's a tribe called the Akan in Ghana, which have dreadlocks as well. Certainly Kenyans. There's a group of people called the Turkana. They have dreadlocks. And the idea, just by the way, that because everyone's from Africa, they've all got the same culture is hilarious, because it's so not true. And anyone who knows, even has a cursory understanding of African history, will tell you that these people, their cultures would not be, they couldn't interlink, they couldn't interlock. They're very different, have very different approaches, very different beliefs. All had dreadlocks. So would you say to somebody from the Turkana people of Kenya that they're culturally appropriating their hairstyle from the Maasais? Would you say that? You wouldn't, And of course, the Rastafarians, the Rastafari, which is a religious movement, their hair and hairstyle is specifically linked to religion. So dreadlocks are all over the fucking place. It's impossible for anybody to culturally appropriate the dreadlock. The Greeks have a claim to it. The Celts have a claim to it. The Egyptians have a claim to it. Loads of tribes in Africa have a claim to it. The Rastafari of Jamaica have a claim to it. These people are not, interlinked. They're not like one collective group. They're all very different. And everyone's got a claim to it. Technically, based on history, the Greeks have the strongest claim, the Minoans. The Cretan people could, if we follow the social justice warrior logic, a Cretan person could go up to an African who had dreadlocks and say, you're appropriating my culture, mate. I don't think people would stand for that, honestly, based on what I know. But that's just history. That's just facts. And again, this idea that you can steal cultures. One of the great things about the passage of time and human history is when cultures do intermingle and we pick up and we learn about different ways and different diverse ways. And sure, Halloween isn't where we celebrate that, but the cultural appropriation attack, that's where they always seem to, go the hardest. That on the one day of the year where you're allowed to dress up as offensively as possible, where you're supposed to shock and scare people and be funny and to express yourself, they go after it all the time. And it's ridiculous. It's not cultural appropriation. Certainly not for one day of a fucking year, is it? It's one day out of a year. What have I appropriated? Fuck all, I'm wearing a costume. And they always come back with that. Well, my culture is not a costume. Well, if I make a costume out of it, I've got some bad fucking news for you. It is. You can still have your culture. I'm not stopping you doing that. If I dress up as a Native American, I'm not saying to Native Americans, I don't like your culture. Keep in mind there's a historical element at play here. No one dresses up as a current Native American and mocks them and, fucking me, pale face, la, la, la. No one does that shit. No one does that shit. People wear the costume that you associate from cowboy movies, cowboy and Indian movies, which is a legitimate genre. I mean, some of those films, yeah, there's some weird, fucked up, problematic overtones. I mean, I've heard John Wayne's quote. I think it was John Wayne that said, do I regret the genocide of Native Americans? Absolutely not. They wouldn't share the land with the white man. Definitely not what happened. But, he's an old fucking dinosaur and he's dead. The Duke's dead. No big deal, right? We can obviously revise history and be smart about it and have a bit more of a nuanced approach to it as we get older. But you're not racist and you don't hate Americans and you're not supporting Native American genocide if you dress up as a fucking Indian from one of those movies. And keep in mind, we're calling them fucking Red Indians. Obviously, we all call them Native Americans these days. I think there's a distinction. I think if you dress up as a Red Indian, keep in mind how fucked up and bullshit that term is. That came about because we thought we discovered India rather than America, right? It's cowboys and Indians. So you're even dressing up in a stereotypical way for a stereotypical name that bears it doesn't have anything connected to the reality of the situation. It's about the film genre and the cultural genre that we've all grown up with. And that's like you're dressing up as basically a character from a film. If you want to tear down that whole part of history and ban all those movies, good luck with that. But the idea that dressing up as a Native American is fucking racist is ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. And it's just tiresome. I have to fucking continually defend it. But the campuses, this is it. This is what's happening to our generation of intellectuals, future intellectuals, our future cultural elite, the people that want to be leaders in their field, the people that want the good jobs, the people that want to be managers, the people that want to be politicians, the people that want to be journalists, the people that want to be senators, the people that want to be president, the people that want control. This is how they are wasting their time. So, report from the College Fix. Campus police to probe offensive costumes. This is over at Tufts University. Just look at this nonsense. They sent a letter out saying that there will be consequences for wearing an offensive costume. The consequences are as follows. The range of response for students whose actions make others in our community feel threatened or unsafe. What is this? I'll interject here. Sam.
Yes.
You're Welsh.
Yep.
What would a stereotypical Welsh person look like in a Halloween costume? Let's say I went for full shock value. Would they have a sheep attached?
Yeah. Sheep, a rugby ball.
Yeah. Velcro gloves, right?
Yeah.
On the side of a sheep that comes out of my jeans. And I walk around, wee, look at me, I'm from Croesero. Right? Do you feel threatened if you see that?
No.
Am I likely to be threatened for doing that?
Probably.
Probably, right? Comes with its own risk. That's fine. But we're all big boys in Wales. Not a problem.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's getting battered over pretend fucking a sheep. I think you're safe there.
Right. But here's what they do. They understand that their position is unreasonable if we argue it on an intellectual basis. So we make it about safety. We make it about safety. Because who can argue against safety? This is not about feeling threatened or unsafe. It's absolutely not. If I see a Halloween costume, put it this way. If you feel threatened because someone is dressed up in a costume that's offensive to you, you have a mental problem. You probably need some serious form of counseling. There are going to be many, many other things that are going to make you feel threatened. The world cannot stop turning to make you feel comfortable. The vast majority of normal people will be fine and will cope with it. You are the person that is wrong. You are the person that is broken, and you are the person that needs to take steps to get fixed. That's the way it works, unfortunately. That's how all societies work. The majority cannot continually bow to, change what works for the majority for the weak, for the mentally and physically weak. You just can't work like that. We can support you in other ways. We can help you get to a position where you can lead normal lives and be functional. But if you're not willing to do that, then I got some bad news for you. We should never agree to change. So they make it about safety because safety. Who would be against my safety? My safety is threatened. It's not. It's a lie. It's to fool you. So it says, in our community, who feel threatened or unsafe, or who direct conduct towards others that is offensive or discriminatory, which includes the Office of Equal Opportunity and our Tufts University Police Department, will investigate, and then disciplinary sanctions from our office that could run a wide gamut depending on what is brought to our attention and the impact of these actions on others. Any complaint will result in a full investigation by university officials and could result in serious disciplinary sanctions through judicial affairs. So think about this. Think about some of the issues that you have on campus. Genuine safety concerns. When students have mental breakdowns and maybe bring a gun and there's a shooting. Actually, what we're going to do is we're going to waste police time, the campus police designed to protect students. We're going to waste their time reporting offensive Halloween costumes. How does that make it a safer environment if the police are tied up investigating this nonsense? It absolutely doesn't. And of course, the threat is as well, if you do not toe our line, basically what they're intimating there is we will kick you out of university. Your higher education that you're paying for will be voided if you do not toe this line, if you do not entertain this madness. So the very act of wearing a Halloween costume becomes an act of protest. It's ridiculous. They also said in a letter that they encourage students to report each other if they encounter someone who is wearing an inappropriate or offensive costume. And there's a URL which links to the website where you can report incidents of bias, intolerance, discrimination, and or hate. So how does this help a community? I'm not... When people dress up as sexy Pocahontas, for Halloween, they're not wanting to fucking offend anybody. They just think it's a good idea for a costume, and they just want to go out and have some fun. That's it. But what you notice is as well, I've never seen any Native Americans reporting this. You know, I've never seen. It's always the same privileged middle to upper class white people in this cultural clique that is the social justice warrior that do it. You know, we saw that video with that guy in the car, a very polite Asian Lyft driver, berated for having a jiggling hula girl on his desk because, according to someone who absolutely has no cultural or racial tie to Hawaii, it's racist. And on it goes. So ridiculous stuff going on at Tufts, and you think, well, that'll be a one-off, mate. How many campuses could be fucking crazy? Well, okay. Here's another one. This one, as reported by Heat Street. Police ban student from Halloween party for racist demon outfit. And this was at Edinburgh University. So you can see this isn't just America. It's happening in Britain too. We do like to copy our cousins. And you can see, there's the photo of it. I mean, have a look at that, Sam. What's racist about that?
It's just a demon, mate. He reminds me of the spirit of jazz from the Mighty Boosh.
Yeah.
Do you know that?
Got a bit of Darth Maul going on as well.
Yeah. The white around the eyes and the mouth.
Yeah. Now, I mean, seriously, do you look at that and think he's dressed up as a black and white minstrel?
No.
Do you think he's parodying black people, black culture?
No.
Or do you think what he's done is he's made his face dark and his eyes white and red to shine through the hood of the costume to make him look more like a demon?
Yeah. There it is.
Yeah, that's what I thought, right? That's what I thought. But yeah, he wasn't allowed into the party unless he wiped his face paint off because it was racist. So even though he had black, white, and red face paint on, it could be construed as blackface, and therefore it had to go. And they gave him some tissues, and he wiped it off. And then, you know, you can see the next picture. He's got it off, and he's looking sad. You know, pretty much, fuck your costume, fuck your fun. It's all over for you. And, you know, there's all sorts of shit going on at the moment. I mean, Edinburgh University Students Associations had previous as well. You can read about that in that report. I won't bring it up because it's not necessarily relevant to the Halloween stuff. But EUSA published a list of unacceptable costumes. And I'm gonna read you this stuff. This was in the Daily Mail. Hang on, Sam. I'll give you a link to this, just in case you haven't got it.
I got it.
All right, sound. But have a look at this, right? I mean, this is beyond a joke. So, let me find the list. Hang on, it's down here somewhere. So basically, on this list, and this was in a report in the Daily Mail, and this is in January of this year, so it's a while back. You can see that you're not allowed to dress up as a Mexican. And I guess what they mean by that is you can't wear a sombrero and a mustache with a poncho, which again, I would argue is a movie culture staple. I don't think it's a racial stereotype per se. I think it's about the films and the cultures and everything that we grew up on. You can't dress up as an Italian gangster.
Really?
You can't dress up as a black gangster. You can't dress up as camp men. You can't dress up as mentally ill people. I don't even know what does that look like?
The people writing these kind of lists probably, mate.
Yeah, but what does that look like? What's the costume for a mentally ill person? Straitjacket, is it?
I guess.
Bonkers. Brilliant. And also, they even specifically said you couldn't dress up as the rapper Chris Brown. You couldn't dress up as Native Americans, especially Pocahontas. You couldn't dress up as Caitlyn Jenner. And these are the rules that they have employed on campus. And Edinburgh was recently rated as one of the most ban-happy universities on campus. As in, if you do these things, if you try and express yourself, and have a bit of fun and enjoy your youth, which is what it's fucking there for, speaking as an old man, definitely have some fun while you can. But if you do partake of some fun, you just get kicked out. Your whole life's just ruined. And especially in a day and age where obviously social justice warriors will dox you and take all your details and put them out publicly and make sure you never get a job ever again because you dressed up as Pocahontas one time. Reasonable. Again, we've got here Connecticut schools. They banned Halloween altogether. They just banned it because they said it had societal safety concerns. This was a report by NBC Connecticut. And the principal of the Connecticut school said the decision was banned on many factors, including safety, it's that word again, and exclusion of students. With increasing societal safety concerns, the number of adults who attended this event, some in costumes, pose a potential safety threat. What's the safety threat? We believe school day activities must be inclusive for all students. It is. Dress up however the fuck you want. You can. No one's saying you can't. The only people who are saying you can't are these cunts that are banning people. And we must be sensitive in regards to holidays and celebrations of religious, cultural, or secular nature. Please know classroom celebrations will continue to take place, but they will be fall-themed, and Halloween will not be mentioned. So, and this is aimed at children. And I'll take you back in time. Now, look, maybe you can make an argument and say, yeah, come on, mate, don't fucking do that. You're a grown person. You know it's going to offend people. Don't do it. Why would you want to ruin a kid's fun? Why would you want to stop a little kid whose favorite character from a Disney movie might just happen to be Mulan, right? Or Pocahontas or whatever, and they want to dress up as them for Halloween, and you're gonna hit them with a bunch of shit that they can't possibly be engaging in. They don't know about racism. They're kids. And you're gonna deprive them of that and hit them with a dose of adult shit straight to the brain that they shouldn't know about? It's weird because everywhere else in society, we don't do that. We do not pollute a child's mind. We don't expose them to violence. We don't expose them to sex. We don't expose them to politics. Everything that an average adult has to deal with, we preserve the kids. When kids ask about death, usually because a pet has died, we try and dress it up as nicely as possible. We soothe their minds. It's all heaven and, you're not going to die. Yeah, you're never going to die. No one's dying. Please just hurry up and get to 16 so I can tell you the world is shit. Right, please. Right? That's what we do with kids. Yet apparently, what's appropriate now is we hit children with this bullshit. Nope, you're being racist. You're dressed in a pimp costume and you're 8 years old and you're racist. I don't even know what's going on. I'm 8. I'm fucking 8 years old. How is this happening? And if you think this hasn't been going on for a while, I'll link you to this Huffington Post article, which summarizes an MTV video. I mean, I'm old. I remember when MTV used to do music. Now, it's just a slew of fucking pseudo-academic fucking cretins just lecturing you about how to be fucking right on and fucking progressive and cool and hip. That's all it is. It's just a lecture. Oh, what, you don't agree with it? Fuck you. You're not cool. It's always just a bunch of people going, really? In these videos, like they're all being a bunch of smug fucking assholes. And this is from last year, just before Halloween. Racist Halloween costumes that are made for kids in the Huffington Post, another fucking joke publication. And it was in the MTV News Decoded, which is a web series that breaks down, race and culture. The host, Francesca Ramsey, famously said, and has perpetuated the myth, that if you're white, you can never be the victim of racism. that there's no such thing as racism towards white people because we've changed the definition of racism and you have to respect it. Racism can only exist with privilege and power. And that's not what racism's about. Like, you can be disenfranchised, and if you hate white people, you're racist too. And I hate to break it to you. The best way to be is simply not judge people on the color of their skin. That is racist. That is what racism is. But anyway, they're in this video, and you can play it. Don't play the audio because it'll give everyone cancer. But if you want to just have it running as visual stimuli, let me tell you what they say in this video. And if you don't believe me, do feel free to watch it. But I certainly recommend that you don't. It will make you physically sick. What you've got here is all these offensive Halloween costumes. And this is like, again, the classic Native American outfit, geisha, the Arabian Sultan. So a kid who might want to dress up like Princess Jasmine from Aladdin, racist, and a Rastafarian. And in this video, there's some crazy shit in there. One of the hosts, one of the talking heads, actually says that if your kids dress this way, someone should call Child Protective Services on you. You should have your children taken away from you if you indulge them at Halloween and let them wear the costume they want to wear. Think about that. Think about that. That you are actively going to promote and encourage people to, again, take an overburdened service and try and have just innocent parents have their children taken away from them because they're dressing their daughters up as Pocahontas or whatever. Or their sons, for fuck's sake. There's also a line in it where someone has got a Confederate general outfit on, again. American Civil War. Definitely not the proudest entry in America's history. Did happen. You can try. It did happen. You can try and fucking airbrush it out all you want. It fucking happened. You can pretend the flag never existed. Did though. You can try and pretend that, there was slavery and then it happened. It fucking happened. And I don't think someone dressing up as a Confederate general is in itself racist. Again, maybe I'm mentally ill. Maybe I'm crazy. But I watched a serial when I was a kid called North and South. My mother made me watch it. It's based on a long novel, kind of the American Civil War's equivalent to War and Peace. It had Patrick Swayze in it and some other motherfuckers. And it was about two families from the North, from the South, that tried to stay friends throughout, obviously, the difficult period in American history, which was the American Civil War. The war that, again, the famous quote, it literally turned brother against brother. So when I was growing up, I was like, yeah, this is fucking cool. And the Confederacy actually had some of the coolest generals. I used to play a lot of war games as a kid. I would often play as the Confederacy. Like, they were at a disadvantage in most of the games, tech-wise and numbers-wise. And I used to play. Am I racist? Am I endorsing slavery now? I don't think so. I certainly don't approve of it. I certainly would never advocate for that system. I think it's disgraceful. I think it's a shameful period of human history. I think any society that has ever at any point relied on slavery definitely has some serious questions to ask about itself. But we don't do it now. And we can't just pretend that didn't happen. And if you want to explore, like the cultural aspects of it, what the fuck? It's not. It doesn't make you evil. So a child wearing a Confederate general outfit can't be evil, can't be racist. But in this video, someone says, if you buy this costume for your kid, I hope you get in a car accident and have to be saved by black paramedics.
Why are you such a long con as well? I want you to almost die, then not die, then be saved by people that we think you hate, but you don't.
How is that reasonable? How is that reasonable? I can't understand why you would wish that on children at Halloween. Seriously. Right. Let's move on, shall we? Before my brain fucking capsizes. UMass. They came up with a solution. That's the University of Massachusetts, Amherst. They came up with a solution, and I think you'll like the solution. It's pretty reasonable. It's a reasonable solution. They just created a flow chart. A flow chart to see whether you're offending people or not. And actually, I'll give you an image of the flow chart. You'll like this. You'll like this, Sam, because it's quite clever. What they've done is they've called it SCREAM, right? Which stands for the Simple Costume Racism Evaluation and Assessment Meter.
Clever.
SCREAM. It's just like Halloween, where people would scream. If you were allowed to fucking scare anyone, but you're not. And if you look at the fucking flow chart, which, by the way, is deliberately... Look at this in the middle. Threat level. Threat level. Like the terrorist threat level. Like green to red. Like terrorist threat level.
I like how the very lowest one is still probably will not offend. Could still happen.
Yeah, could happen. Could happen. So yeah, even if... That's a beautiful thing, isn't it? Probably will not offend, but if it does, well,
still your
threat level's elevated, and you're a cunt. So, and again, look, some of the stuff in this report, man, it's unreal. Here's another thing. This was a poster, an awareness poster that was put out. Have a look at this. Again, hypersexualized racism is still racism. Like. Ooh, I love me some sexy racism. What is that? Who has ever said that? They just look like fucking cute chicks in cute outfits. What's the problem? Where's the racism? What are we doing? It's insane. It's insane. So they came up with a flow chart. And as you can see from the flow chart, it basically rules out dressing up as Native Americans and all the fucking classics. And quite funnily, the Washington Examiner picked up on this story, and they actually realized that the flyers that were being distributed in relation to this campaign contradicted each other. And they said in their report that other displays and cultural appropriation contradict one another. One flyer says cultural appropriation is an act of privilege and leads to offensive, inaccurate, and stereotypical portrayals of other people's culture. But another flyer issued by the same group was saying culture is fluid. And they even contained a quote from the author Susan Scafidi, who wrote a book titled Who Owns Culture, Appropriation and Authenticity in American Law, which said, it's not fair to ask any culture to freeze itself in time and live as though they were a museum diorama. Cultural appropriation can sometimes be the savior of a cultural product that has faded away. These fucking morons can't even get on the same fucking page. Doesn't end there. Wish it did. This is another one. Brock University Students Union also decided a flow chart. Why not have a flow chart? Love a flow chart. Check theirs out, mate. Their flow charts, it's a lot easier to follow. It doesn't have a cool acronym, but it's there. I mean, it's got a catchy catchphrase to it. Like, when picking your Halloween costume this year, dress up, don't mess up.
Good one.
And you can follow it. You can follow it. Is my costume supposed to be funny? Yes, no. Right, so let's say yes. Is the humor based on making fun of real people, human traits or cultures? Let's answer yes. Immediately goes, don't wear that. I can't make fun of anyone.
It even says traits. I can't even do situational comedy amongst my Halloween anymore.
Comedy's over, mate. It's over. It's dead. It's offensive. It's too problematic. Does my costume reduce cultural differences to joke, stereotypes, or historical cultural inaccuracies? Well, by the way, while we're talking about cultural inaccuracies, also in that MTV video, they make reference to blankets with smallpox in, which were allegedly given to Native Americans. I don't think there's ever been a credible historical document that's ever proved that happened, by the way. So, but when a historical inaccuracy proves your biased viewpoint, it's fine. If you're a leftist, you can do that. That's fine. So look, no, let's check. So even if you got no, let's just have a look, shall we? Does my costume packaging include the words traditional, cultural, ethnic, or tribal? Yep, don't wear that.
I'm a traditional elf. Don't wear it though. Yes, I lose.
All right. Is there literally a name of a marginalized group that you're not in the title of your costume? Yeah, nope, don't wear it. Does your costume involve the use of blackface? Don't wear it. I mean, this is mentally ill. Does your costume have a swastika or Confederate flag anywhere on it? And again, keep in mind, I would say this, like, I don't know if I would dress up as Hitler for Halloween.
But
if someone did, Hitler was a pretty scary dude. Within the context of a Halloween event, it's not the maddest thing ever, is it? And I would assume that person wasn't a racist. I used to play in a fucking five-a-side football league. This is absolutely true. In Wales, of course. And we used to play a team. And they were called Hitler's Henchmen. That was literally the name of their five-a-side team. And instead of armbands, they did have swastikas on their arm. I'm going to go out on a limb and say those people probably were a bit racist. I think someone dressing up as Hitler on Halloween, probably not racist. Probably not, right? Okay, fair enough then. You know, maybe that's where we draw the line. Are you using a wig that is race-related? Cornrows. Don't wear that. Are you dressed as Caitlyn Jenner? Why is Caitlyn Jenner the only?
She's got her own thing.
It doesn't say, are you dressed as a transgender person? No, it's okay. But if you dress as Caitlyn Jenner, that's off limits. This is how you know it's bullshit. This is how you know the leftists just pick and choose the topical issues. Caitlyn Jenner's sacred. Every other trans person, fuck yourself. According to their list. Does your costume make fun of suicide or rape? Right? And I was thinking to myself, well, how do you do that? But then, are ye Bill Cosby? All scary guy.
Yep.
Don't have a drink. Don't, if he offers you a drink. Even if you got cotton mouth, just politely decline. Robin Williams. As if anyone's done that.
I know. Who's done that?
Like, literally, who's done that? Who's gone around as the blue genie with a noose round his neck?
Sending the pictures if it happened.
Yeah, definitely. But I mean, even if that has happened, I'd probably look at that and go, oh, my heart, that hurts. It's kind of funny in a little way. You know, fucking, yeah. Do you think Rob Williams would be fucking like, oh, no, definitely don't offend anyone this Halloween? Like, look at his career. He was an offensive stand-up. It's mad. It's balmy. Check yourself before you wreck yourself.
And your friends.
Dress yourself. Don't mess yourself. They're cool as fuck. Now you can see as well, sacred and ceremonial dress, not allowed. Day of the Dead makeup, not the film, but the ceremony, that's very real apparently. Dia de Muertos, it's a Mexican holiday, which is celebrated throughout Mexico apparently. Think it's something to do with what happened in Breaking Bad, to be honest. I've never seen it. I don't know. Whatever. Can't do that. Can't wear a headdress. Can't dress up like you're from Saudi. Can't be a geisha. Can't dress up as an Indian person. So, just ridiculous. Literally, you can't, doesn't, you know, what am I supposed to do? Is Dracula okay? I don't know.
Appropriate in Transylvania culture, mate.
Right. You know what I mean? Frankenstein, I'd have to green up a bit, give me a bit of a flat head.
Green face.
Yep, green face. The horror of green face. Now, if you think that this is, you know, like just, it's like open season, like nobody, you know, it affects everybody. It's really weird. Certain groups definitely do get a fucking good shake of things when it comes to buying these costumes. So you can see here, this was a report from the Telegraph in the UK, that Amazon actually, there was a bunch of complaints just before Halloween in 2016, which had this outfit called the sexy Burqa, which obviously is a fucking contradiction in terms. There's nothing sexy about the Burqa, but you can see from this outfit, it's not a burqa. It does have a veil. It does have a full face veil. But the rest of that costume, just, I'm not the most Islamic person in the world. That's not a burqa. Because calling it a sexy burqa is a bit of a misnomer. It's a veil with a very, sexy, alluring outfit attached to it. It's not a problem. But apparently, several customers, but none of them Muslim probably, complained and said that it was sexist. Although there was one comment on the thing saying, "This is not a joke. Whoever you are, fear Allah." Well, yeah, it's all right, mate. I'll let you be scared of that fictitious cunt. I'll be all right.
I'll be scared to pay my rent, mate.
yeah, I'm scared of the real shit, right? You be scared of the fictitious ghouly man in the sky. I'll be over here being worried about the very real shit. A planet that's fucking burning up and fucking limited resources and overpopulation and everything else. I'll worry about that shit. You worry about Allah, right? And Amazon said, all marketplace sellers must follow our selling guidelines, and those who don't will be subject to action, including the potential removal of their account. This product in question is no longer available. So, all right, well, maybe the sexy burqa again was a step too far. Arab costume. It's an Arab costume if you want to dress up as an Arab. I mean, it's not even a problem, is it, right? I mean, it's a fucking, look at it. It's just an Arab costume. It's just, you go to Saudi Arabia, you will see people dressed like that. It's not like some broad comedy stereotype. But, again, a person's culture is not a fancy dress costume. If I make it into a costume, it is. End of discussion. I can dress that way, so it's fine. Sure, they might have very valid cultural reasons for doing it. It might mean something super important to them, but I'm not going to wear it all the time, every day, am I? I'm doing it for Halloween, and I might want to dress up as a specific Arabian person for the purposes of the fucking costume. What's the issue? Why is that a problem? So, and just to be super helpful at the bottom, obviously, it does tell you all about Muslim clothing. Brilliant, love that. Love that super reasonable Muslim clothing, including the fucking burqa. I mean, look at that. Look at that fucking burqa at the end. It's not even the cool burqa. It's not even the niqab. It's a fucking absolute full burqa. Just look at it. She got a fucking little mesh to look through, like. Brilliant. That's why aren't we trying to ban that? Surely there's a bunch of people who have to dress that way and don't want to. There must be. It's shit. I wouldn't want to. Do you know what I mean? It would do my head in. If you want to dress like that, do it. Fine, knock yourself out. But I'm pretty
Halloween, though.
Well, yeah, right. Definitely not Halloween. But I'm pretty sure there must be some women out there who have to wear it who don't fucking want to. Just because of the nature of, patriarchal societies, which do exist, just not in the places where social justice warriors say they are. So, also, you're not even safe if you're a celebrity. Surely being a celebrity, you get a pass. Celebrities do outrageous shit all the time to be in the news, to draw attention to themselves. Lady Gaga wore all that meat. That was a dress. Oh, fucking hell, she's dressed in meat, Oh, madness, right? Marilyn Manson had some fake tits put in. Oh, what a statement about androgyny and sexuality, and his songs are outrageous. I've been to Marilyn Manson concerts, by the way. Bet you didn't know that. Bet you never suspected that. I've been to Marilyn Manson concerts. I watched one fucking concert, right? Where
you set yourself off?
No, fuck no. That's a myth that kids. But what he did do was, he did fucking drop his kecks and wipe his ass with an American flag. I'm not. Yeah.
Aggro.
It was in the UK. I mean, people seem to like it.
Yeah, not awesome.
But, you know, I mean, freedom of expression. Maybe a bit, like you say, a bit aggro. Not anything I'd do. Like the American flag, like American culture, you know. Like, but if it's okay to fucking, you know, say that it's a symbol of oppression and it's a bad thing, then I guess it stands to reason. It's definitely okay to wipe your ass on it. You can't have it both ways. You know, even Bill Hicks used to say, nothing wrong with burning the flag. Just if it's your personal beliefs, it's not something I'd do. But if you want to do it, how about it? That's your you know, First Amendment right. So celebrities obviously do things for shock value, and at Halloween, I'd expect like at least one or two celebrities to be slipping and do crazy shit. Nah, these people got fucking absolutely wrecked for doing nothing. Hilary Duff, again reported in Heat Street by my boy Ian Miles Chong. So this is Hilary Duff, formerly of Disney. She's dressed up. Well, in fact, I mean, it's her and her boyfriend. They've dressed up. She's dressed up as like a pilgrim. And he's dressed up as a Native American. So she's a sexy pilgrim. He's a sexy Native American. And the usual outlets have called it outrageous and offensive and disrespectful. You know, that piece of shit Jezebel's all over it. HuffPo, the joke's all over it. They've just absolutely piled fucking, you know, this like condemnation on them. You know, Huffington Post's article was Hilary Duff's Halloween costume was tone deaf. That's what they said. And then I believe Jezebel just did Hilary Duff. Why? What's wrong with being a pilgrim? I mean, you're aiming it at her. Surely it's the boyfriend that's got the issue with the Native American thing. I mean, but no. And just look at some of these tweets. This will fucking blow your mind. I mean, look, I'm loath telling to fucking Jezebel, but fuck it. Like, this has to be seen to be believed. Jezebel is a piece of shit. I mean, you know, it's one of the glorious Kotaku verticals, the feminist Kotaku vertical. Hilary Duff wasn't controversial. I mean, I agree with that. There's nothing controversial about that. I look at that and I'm just like, yeah, whatever. Hilary Duff wasn't controversial. She was racist. There's the difference.
Nice.
Thoughts and prayers this morning to everyone who weirdly believed Hilary Duff wouldn't eventually wear a racist Halloween costume. What does that even mean?
Who even thinks of that?
Thoughts and prayers. Have your prayers. Big I can't believe Hilary Duff looked at her boyfriend and thought, yeah, this costume is perfect and not offensive. Why would she? What's the issue? Did every actor who ever wore that costume in a movie, were they all racist? No, Hilary Duff, traditional dress is not a costume. It is. It literally is a costume. If you have to dress up as, you know, okay, so if I have to dress up for a traditional ritual, I'm donning a costume for the purposes of a traditional ritual. You're the person applying importance to it. It is literally a costume. And you being dressed as a pilgrim proves to me how insensitive and ignorant you are. Well, what? Why? You know, it's insane. So they had to apologize, of course. There's an apology. Hilary Duff, I'm so sorry to people I offended with my costume. It was not properly thought through, and I'm truly from the bottom of my heart sorry. And then the boyfriend has to come out and go, I meant no disrespect. I only have admiration for the indigenous people of America. In hindsight, I would not have made that decision. I apologize to anyone I may have offended. You know, it won't end there. Those cunts will be fucking... You know, it'll keep getting brought up every fucking, you know, every time they do anything. Remember when you were a mad fucking racist? Remember that? Remember when you were racist? Like, definitely not racist.
It's sort of depressing having to watch these celebrities bend the knee over nothing nowadays.
They have to, don't
Imagine Bruce Springsteen doing that back in the day. You would have just been, get fucked.
This is the thing. You don't bend the knee. These people don't stop. They do not stop. They have to get the apology. They will go after you until they get the apology. They will not stop. They will not stop. And they're a minority, but they're a minority. They're a cultish minority with too much time on their hands. They will go after everything. They will email every sponsor. They will try and take away everything you have to win their little petty point. The best thing to do is always just bend the knee on a personal level. Or you will deal with media hit piece after media hit piece, sponsors withdrawing from you, friends recoiling and withdrawing from you because they don't want the same thing to happen to them. This is what they do. It is bullying and shaming. And those are the tactics they operate. So you're like, well, who else is going to get fucked? Now, you know Chris Hemsworth. You know him? Plays Thor. Now, Chris Hemsworth, he's a friend to the progressive left. He starred in Ghostbusters, the new shit Ghostbusters. The shit feminist, let's kill the villain at the end by shooting it in the dick. Definitely not a feminist piece of propaganda, Ghostbusters. If you don't like this movie, you are sexist, Ghostbusters. He starred in that, and he made a fucking tit of himself throughout the movie just to show how right on he is. How could anyone have a problem with Chris Hemsworth? He's an ally. That's what they call him, ally. He's an ally. He's an ally. He's on our side. He's on our side. He was in Ghostbusters. Did I mention Ghostbusters? No. Fucking fuck Ghost Bros. Fuck 1984. Fuck Bill Murray. Fuck Dan Aykroyd. Fuck them all. Fuck them all in the face. It's all about this feminist Ghostbusters. And feminist Ghostbusters 2016 had Chris Hemsworth in it. It's all good. Well, Chris Hemsworth made a fucking mistake, and he's done a boo-boo. So somebody found a photo of him during a New Year's Eve party last year. Last year. This isn't current. Somebody found it, and in it, there's people dressed as Native Americans again, and it's wanted, and it's a Cowboys and Indians themed New Year's Eve party. And Chris Hemsworth dressed up as an Indian, right? Which we know aren't really. He's dressed up as a Native American. And his brother's dressed up as a sheriff. And someone's found this photo, and it's blown up just before Halloween. And he's had to come out and apologize. And keep in mind, he even pledged his support last year. So because of this shit, he'd already pledged his support to Native American people of Standing Rock and helping them out with all the stuff that was going on over there. So, like, this guy couldn't be more fucking right on. And he's had to bend the knee and apologize. And again, just look at these fucking tweets in this report, mate. I can't put into words how wrong this is. Well, a bunch of people enjoying themselves, doing absolutely zero harm to anyone else on planet fucking Earth. So wrong. So wrong. It's so wrong, Sam. How dare they? Don't they realize by dressing up and parodying movie culture, you're actually evil? I mean, you're just fucking evil. You're just scum. There you are, having a private party, posing for photos privately among friends, which the fucking gutter press have paid and induced somebody to give up so they can generate traffic to make money based on artificial controversy and pretty much just encourage a bunch of mentally ill lunatics. That's fine. Can't put into words how wrong this is. I agree with you. It is fucking wrong. It's very fucking wrong. But not for the reasons you're saying. Oh, no. Thor has gone and effed up with his cultural appropriation. Not cool, man. You shouldn't dress up in other people's traditional dress. Make a mockery of it. It might seem harmless, but it's just ... thoughtless and unkind and overall a shitty thing to do. If it isn't yours to use, don't use it. What the fuck does that mean? I love you and Chris, but this is disappointing, gotta say. Have you spotted the big irony here? Let me know if you can spot it. You tell me.
No. Hit me.
Right. Do you know about Nordic and Scandic culture?
Yeah, kind of.
About Nordic mythology?
Mm-hmm.
It's a religion, right?
Yep.
He dresses up as Thor. For a living. Right? Why, when he dresses up as the fucking god of war from an ancient religion, why is that okay? But he dressed up as a Native American, not okay. That's culturally insensitive. He's dressing up as a fucking deity in the other one. He's doing that for fun. He's flying around, lobbing hammers at people, playing Thor like he's a fucking brain-dead cunt. A God of War, right? And sure, he did have some mischievous bit. If you ever read Nordic mythology, it's pretty interesting. Pretty sure there's one where he fucking ends up getting accidentally married to a fucking troll and has to kiss it when he lifts the veil and then smashes its head in with fucking Mjolnir. Someone can tell me if that's bollocks. Pretty sure that's true. I remember that one from being a kid. How's that not cultural appropriation? How's that okay? But the Native American outfit is too far. He dresses up as a religious figure from an ancient culture to make money out of it, to exploit it. It's bonkers. It's absolutely fucking crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Oh, but, could it be, white people don't have culture? Could it be that? Yeah, we don't. Fuck that. Fuck that noise. Yeah, absolutely. That's what progressives believe. So Chris Hemsworth's had to come out and bend the fucking knee and apologize. I sincerely and unreservedly apologize, he says. Sincerely and unreservedly. Please push my shit in more often, you angry mob. I encourage you. Right? It's unreal, isn't it? It's unfucking real. This is so disappointing to see. Native Americans are real. Their culture is real. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Scandinavian people are real. The Nordic people are real. Nordic mythology is real. It's, it's a joke. The whole thing is a fucking joke. But don't worry. Don't feel too bad. There is some sanity. There is a potential for sanity. We might see some pushback. I read a pretty good piece of satire. Which I'll give it here. This was on the website Bleeding Heart Libertarians. And it says here, Halloween is for Irish people only. For anyone else, it's racist cultural appropriation. And it's quite interesting because what they do is they take the logic that the social justice warriors are using and they turn it against them by literally explaining the history of the Halloween festival. And Halloween is a mishmash of many different cultures, but I think most people would agree with this, that it's actually, its roots are in Gaelic culture. So here you go. It says here, if you know anything about, first of all, let's be clear. This is satire. Stress this, and it's very well written satire. You could almost believe it was real because it so well parodies these idiots. Let's be clear. Halloween is for Irish people and for Irish people only. Or more precisely, it's for people who are of sufficiently robust Gaelic descent. If you are not Irish, but you celebrate Halloween, then you are engaging in racist cultural appropriation, which, of course, by their logic, would be absolutely true. You would be. If you know anything about Irish history, and I assume the Yale students in question do not, you know that the Gaelic people have been systematically oppressed, murdered, raped, enslaved, starved, and abused. And that is actually true. Even the word Halloween stems from cultural imperialism and genocide, as the Christian conquerors replaced the authentic holiday of Samhain, or Shamain, with their Christianized holidays of All Hallows Day or All Hallows Eve, which becomes condensed and becomes Halloween. Shamain is a rich holiday with a noble and storied tradition. It's a holiday that belongs to a formerly, and to some degree, culturally oppressed ethnic group, and indeed the Irish got beat the fuck up throughout history and were treated quite badly. There's a line in Blazing Saddles, the great comedy, which will also soon be banned, which makes reference to this, where when all the diverse groups come out and the white people from the racist townsfolk make an agreement to ally against a bandit group, they say they'll take the black people and the Chinese, but they don't want the Irish, even though the Irish are white. And that was certainly a historical issue, and definitely right to have a chip on their shoulder about it. Yet more people in the US and Canada and many in Europe, Mexico, South America, and elsewhere feel free to appropriate this sacred festival for their own purposes. They mock it by wearing inauthentic costumes, drinking too much, which is itself a racist mockery of the drunken Irish stereotype, and exchanging inauthentic, store-bought candies instead of the traditional treat. Again, for a non-Irish person to participate in Halloween at all is equivalent to a white person donning a traditional Native American headdress or wearing blackface. The American Halloween tradition, which encourages everyone to mock and insult this sacred Irish festival, is at least as insulting as Chief Wahoo, the Redskins name, or the Black Hawks logo. And, you know, this is the point, isn't it? If you follow this ridiculous logic through to its conclusion, you're absolutely right. It's like I was talking about at the start of the video with dreadlocks and cultural appropriation. There's so much that's gone on over human history. Nobody can really lay a claim to anything. And what Halloween has become, it's become something that is diverse and has got some, you know, Gaelic history in there. And then you add some sort of traditional German stuff in there, and elements of the occult and elements of Celtic gibberish, and then of course when it comes to America, it gets popularized, and look, it's a mix, it's a blend, it's about the melting pot. To reject it and try and change it is actually to, you know, strike it to the core of what it's supposed to be about. And then just as a bit of wonderful Schadenfreude, or Schadenfreude. Can't even speak. I'm so enraged. I'm so triggered. So there's a wonderful bit of Schadenfreude. There was this individual from this tweet, which basically there was somebody bragging on Twitter about they went into a store and vandalized Halloween costumes that were like the sexy Pocahontas, you know, the peace pipe, whatever the fuck. And you can see the tweets here. This was the user Can Hesio or something. Tweets are protected at the moment. The classic social justice warrior. I don't want to be held accountable for my actions when they go viral, yet I will expect everybody else to be held accountable for their actions and will encourage it to go viral. It's very interesting how they have that double standard. I got arrested for putting stickers on these Halloween costumes, she said. The manager called the police and it was really aggressive. I mean, imagine that. Imagine going in a shop, Sam, and vandalizing the store property, and the manager being pissed off about it. What a racist!
No.
You know, what a racist! 5 officers arrived and arrested 3 of us, including a student journalist who was with us. So, in other words, some cunt with a blog that was following you around. We were just detained in the store, and an officer told us that either we'd have to pay for the costumes or be charged with vandalism. How about this? How about you just get fucking charged with vandalism? Why are you even being given the option here? Right? So I am now the proud owner of $1,500 worth of the shittiest costumes. Do these people talk about privilege? Because when I was a student, if I had to outlay that because of a prank I'd done, I'd have to take the jail time. I wouldn't be able to just fork up $1,500 and just pay it off and be like, and joke about it. And there's also the fact that you've been given an out. You've been told, if you buy that, it's your property, we'll let you off. Even though clearly your intent was to vandalize this property. And then, I love it when these fuckers do this shit. Fun fact. Gotta love fun fact, right? Whenever anyone says fun fact, you're a cunt. I mean, just immediately, you are
fun fact. I'm a rat.
Fun fact. I talk in these fucking cliches. You know, these are the same people who, can we just talk about that? You know, and what that means is I'm about to lecture you for 30 minutes. That's what it means. Can we just talk about? Fuck off. Fun fact. The manager also refused to do any tax exemption. Then went on a tirade about how he works hard and has to pay taxes. Yeah, he does. You don't. You're a middle to upper class privileged white student. You are so divorced from reality, you think you can go and vandalize hardworking people's property and get away with it because you're on the right side of history. And look, people are replying. And go, oh, God, so gross. Hate those small business owners who want to pay their taxes and won't let you get away with vandalizing a property. What a fucking asshole. Let us know if we can help. You know? It's unreal. But the good news is that, of course, you know, they were punished. Will they learn their lesson? Probably not. These people are idiots. But just think about it as well. You know, they're trying to have this wonderful ideological protest. They probably define themselves as anti-capitalist and socialist. And as a result, they destroy the hard work of a small business owner, somebody that's just trying to make a living. Not a big corporation, just the little guy, you know. And that's what they're like. They're absolute. It's an absolute disgrace. So yeah, I think, you know, look, I always get torn on a day-to-day basis. I never know which way it's actually going to go. Some days I think this is going to fix itself. Other days I think we're fucked. I think we're doomed, and I think these lunatics are going to run the asylum. The key point in all of this is, look, if you want to go out and dress up offensively for fucking Halloween, it's the one day of the year you should be able to fucking do it. You know, it's not a big deal. It doesn't affect people. It doesn't make you a racist. And if you kowtow to these lunatics, they don't stop. They don't just say, oh, well, we'll take Halloween and then we'll leave it there. They push and they push and they push and they keep going. And it'll be something else, and it'll be something else, and it'll be something else. And you know what? The planet, like, life is just boring enough. These people have took enough. Fuck political correctness. Fuck this bullshit. And next Halloween, go all out, man. Like, really, just fucking go all out. Because enough is enough. This is lunacy. And people have to take a stand against it. Anyway, hopefully Halloween isn't banned next year. I guess we'll find out then. Until then, take care. I'll see you on the next video.